Yo, Agwan, hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Ozone 8, which I have been using in FL Studio 20, but you can use it in any DAW. This is a mastering plugin helping you basically get your tracks sounding silky smooth, sounding like professional tracks so that you can put them out on streaming platforms, all that sort of stuff. And it does have a great mastering preset for streaming, specifically with the right audio levels in mind and all that sort of stuff, which we will get into. But if you haven't watched one of my reviews before, the way I basically do these reviews is I like to go through the product page of the developer to look through what they say that the main selling points of their plugin is. I give you some of my insight into how I've been using it with my music and how it's been working for me, whether it has been working, whether it hasn't been working, whether it's worth the price, whether you should get it. So that's how it's gonna roll. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jay Carteret from jcarteret.com, teaching you how to be better at music, YouTube marketing and online business. This is the #1 spot for musicians and creatives that don't want to be starving artists. So if that sounds like you, this is the place to be. Ozone 8 is a plugin that is near and dear to my heart. I am very fond of the Ozone series, and I love iZotope's plugins, so I gotta give you the real bias there. I love their plugins. I've been a fan for a while, so know that going in there. They were kind enough to send me a press copy so that I could get this up and running and test it out and whatnot, so that's to be known as well. Disclosure, but I'm not making any money from this review or anything like that, and it's completely honest. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you, because you know that's stupid. Let's get into it. I've used Ozone 8 to master multiple beats, over like probably over 20 beats now, at least 10, at least 15. And I've mastered one song with it, which I do still need to listen back to that song, but you know, I haven't listened to it in a while. But it's sounding good. It's sounding good, although I need to basically still work on my mastering process. So I'm still getting there. But Ozone has been a great help. Now let's look at what iZotope are saying that the biggest selling points of their product is. Now they've got this automated assistant that you can use that, as it says, it uses the sonic profile of your audio to help you get to a logical starting point because your time is spent better adding your sonic signature. Master Assistant will suggest target, signal chain and processor settings so you can get back to what's important, adding that personal touch. So what does this mean? Basically, what this means is if you bring up Ozone 8 on your master track and you go to Master Assistant, it will ask you to play the song. And please don't crash with me, please don't do it, please don't I got a bunch of plugins. When you okay, great, okay, it didn't crash with me. So basically what it will do is you click on this Master Assistant thing, you play through the song, you can pick a reference track. You can say you want it to be streaming or you want it to sound like the reference track. Honestly, I haven't really used, like, it's got a great system for using references and I've tried it out and I've explored it, but I don't use it with my own mixes. I have to reference the old-fashioned way, or not the old-fashioned way because it's the new-fashioned way, because I listen to my music on Spotify. I don't download any of my music, so I can't get the file in here to get it to reference. So I just listen to the song that I kind of want to capture the same sonic feel of, and I play it back on Spotify while listening to my song as well, and trying to just get those same levels. And I do it by ear basically, but if you can download your tracks, then you know you can use the reference system. Another reason why I don't use the reference system is because I am aiming to release my music primarily for streaming platforms, because that's how I listen to music. And when you download these songs, they're not, well, sometimes they're not formatted for streaming platforms. They're formatted for like CD or some other type of release, you know, digital downloads or whatever, and that may be at a different volume than the streaming platforms. So you know, you might just be better off going with the streaming preset here, which I think is the one that I ended up using. And what it does is in the maximizer, it limits your track at -14 lufs, which is where, you know, I don't even know what these different, like, I've looked into it, it's all, you know, I still haven't grasped lufs and like the difference between lufs and dBs and what RMS, I think. So, but basically this is where Spotify wants you to put your music, and stream platforms want your music at this decibel or at this volume. So this will just set up automatically that your song will hit that volume, and then you can even automatically learn where the threshold is going to be by playing your music back. Let me even show you this. So here I am playing some music back on the master track, and what I can do is I can press this learn threshold button, and what this will do is it will try and find where the threshold should be in order to get my track to the right volume with the maximum amount of loudness, basically. So here it's trying to go way down, but my system's getting stressed right about now because I'm doing too much. I'm doing way too much. So it can't learn while my system's doing way too much. Sorry, because I'm recording and stuff, but it does do it. I promise you, it does do it. I use this feature all the time, and then I finagle it a little bit and get it to a nice spot. So this is my mixing or my mastering process that I've just come up with in Ozone. I did start with a preset. I believe the preset was modern hip hop, and then I edited it. So we've got an equalizer with a low shelf cut, some boost around the mids, some boost around the mid highs, and a high cut. Then we got a compressor, I believe. Is that a vintage compressor? No, that's the vintage compressor. This is a multi-band compressor. I think I've only seen 2 bands here. It's the compressor that they automatically put on. Then there's a dynamic EQ that cuts out some problem areas, which I believe was done with the Master Assistant again. And then we've got the vintage compressor, and we've got an imager to give it a bit more stereo width, and then we've got the maximizer on the end. And honestly, I need to be looking in here before I release songs, because I've just been using the same preset and just flinging it out on beats. Because generally, if someone's gonna, you know, professionally release a song, they're gonna do a bit of mixing to the beat or whatever, and they'll just get the stems if they really want to get the perfect sound in it. So but with my songs, I definitely need to go in here and make sure that I'm actually checking these resonances. But this is the automatic dynamic EQ that was applied on my first track when I first used Master Assistant. Well, it works, and it is a very good starting point. I really do like Master Assistant. Unlike the mixing assistant from Neutron, I prefer the Master Assistant because it works with the sound that I'm trying to get, while the mixing assistant did not. But Master Assistant just works perfectly well. So that's how that is. This is my, you know, signal chain, and this is how I get, you know, my sound and whatnot. And this plugin does come with a bunch of presets, and it does have that machine learning to give you a good starting point and all that sort of stuff. This tonal balance control is something that I totally forgot about until today, where I came on the product page and I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Because I remember watching a video about this and being like, oh, that's cool, and I totally forgot about it. I've just been mastering by ear, but today I did fling this on one of my tracks, and basically what it does is you can pick from a variety of the presets, and it basically tells you where your lows, where your low mids, where your high mids, and where your high frequencies should, sorry, I just hit the mic there, where it should be to basically match up with the industry standard. So that's what we're doing here, and I think you can also use reference tracks as well. So what you want to do is you want to place tonal balance control at the bottom of your track so that everything else goes through it. And I've connected this to the equalizer in Ozone, and now if we play what's going on, you'll see that even though I've picked the bass heavy preset, let me see if modern is too low. Yeah, now I've picked bass heavy, and they're basically like, wow, no, there's too much bass. Let me play it. But I like the sound of it. I like it where it is, so I'm gonna leave it there. But it will let you know what's going on, and then you can also connect it to Ozone, or connect it to one of your EQs, or connect it to something else, and then you can actually change what's going on to get it in the right tonal frequency. So let's play this back and you'll see that happening in real action, or real time. So it's saying my low end is way too high, cuz it's saying loud, but everything else is pretty good. It's saying high mid should be a little bit more boosted, so we could give that a bit of a boost. But remember, this is a beat, so it doesn't really need that. That's where the vocals are gonna be. And the high end, same thing. Vocals are gonna capture a lot of that. I like where everything's sitting. I like my beats to sound like very mid heavy, basically. So as you can see, you know, we're just out of range of the bass. We could perform a low cut and get the bass down, but come on, cuz. Who wants to do that? Actually doesn't sound too bad, you know. But I want the boom. I want the boom. Like, there's not enough boom. You gotta boom it. Boom. So you can play around with that. Obviously, you don't have to follow the instructions, but it's a good reference point. Like, I didn't follow the bass instructions because I'm like, nah, allow it, man. I want a bunch of bass. But this is a great thing that I haven't been using until now, but luckily it seems like I've been getting my tracks in the right tonal balance. But yeah, it's definitely something that I'm going to be using every time I master a track from now on, to just see where everything's sitting and seeing if it's within industry standard or not. So this is basically letting you know that Isotope Ozone also connects with Neutron, because you can connect basic elements between them and all that sort of stuff. You can link the tonal balance control to your EQ modules, and you can go to individual EQs actually, if you name them correctly. If you haven't named them, then yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. But if you have set up Neutron EQs across your system, let's actually get rid of this plugin before my computer dies. It is heavy on the CPU, so you generally should bounce your track before mastering it, but I'm wild, didn't I? I live this wild life. So if we open up tonal balance control, what we can do is we can click here and it will show us all our plugins that we can also connect with. Now all this hi-hats, open hat, snare, all that sort of stuff, these are relays which send back to my Neutron visual mixer. So none of these can really do much for me, but if I set up an EQ, I'll name it like whatever EQ, and then you can go to that and then you can EQ that specific instrument from this one place, which is the real big selling point here. It's just doing everything from one place and not having to go through each track and pick this EQ and that EQ and do that and all that sort of stuff. So here we also have the Spectral Shape module, which honestly shouldn't have gotten rid of that new Ozone that I opened up, because now we need to open it up again. But basically in here, I haven't used this part of the module yet because I've filled up my thing with too many things. Like, there's a limit in it. You can't put more. I wish I could have got more, and I didn't really know exactly what I was doing with the Spectral Shaper, so I left it alone. But what you can do is you can just change the tone of specific frequencies, or you can move it across your whole frequency band or whatever. But you generally should do this if you know what you're doing in it. But you can then listen to that tone and then take it down. So if you got really harsh resonances, you can listen to it and then, you know, maybe bring the tone down and get rid of those super high frequencies, or get rid of those mid dirty muddy frequencies or whatever. So that's that. I can't actually show you that in action because my computer will definitely die with 2 Ozones running. Like I know that. I'm not even taking the risk. This whole recorded will be gone. So just believe me, go to this website, you know, you can click and watch the video and all that sort of stuff. So intelligent signal processing, tonal balance control, the track referencing is actually out of this world. Like, it's really, really good. But as I said, it's like, you need to get the right audio files. You need to get the right audio files, because if you're getting a CD audio file and you're trying to mix for streaming, you're gonna need a different mix or a different master. It's going to be at a different level, so you might want to bring everything a little bit down. So I don't use the referencing module, but there's so much potential and I wish that I could because it's just so much more convenient than what I'm actually doing. Like, you can listen back and forth between the tracks. Now I'm not actually going to do that here. I will do that here. Let's bring up a different reference actually, because what I am going to do now is start referencing my own tracks. Now what I did is I downloaded one of Young Thug's mixtapes and just basically, you know, grabbed all of those. But let me go to one of my songs. I think Alive Master 2 Done should be the done one. Done one. So where did it go? Okay, here we go. So here we got the reference track, and what it does is it breaks up your track into sections. So now you can specifically play this part and be like, okay, I want to master this part of the beat to sound like this part of this song. So I can pick the chorus, and I can pick the chorus of this. I'm just happy I'm alive, yeah. And then I can like loop that part, or I can loop like the pre-chorus. And I came out clean like soap, yeah. Shit could be worse. Yeah. Shit could be worse, yeah, yeah. I used to think I was cursed and I don't believe in it. Sorry, this is like a this is a world premiere preview of this song, to be honest, because this probably won't be out by the time this review is out. But like, you can pick different sections of the song, which makes it really, really convenient for actually finding the right places that you want to mimic and then applying that to your song. And then now I can, because I've already mixed the song and got it to where I want to get to, I can now use that as a reference for all my future songs. Like, if I'm making an album, I want everything to sound cohesive, so I'd use other tracks from the album to do the rest of the mastering and to reference other things. As long as you need to do it right once. You need to reference something else once, get the sound that you want, and then you can reference that from then on, basically. But yeah, I really do like the referencing system, because you can just turn off the reference at any time and listen to your actual song, and then you can turn on the reference and hear that. Or you can basically, you can see the frequency of the reference by just pressing this. You open up the referencing panel, and now I can see the different frequencies of my main thing and the reference, which I believe is in the background. Don't quote me on that. I haven't used this in a while, as I told you. But you can also change this meter to now see your reference track. So instead of just the track from here, we can replace the input with reference, and now you can see the reference is audio. So if you bring that up, I had days I wish I died, yeah. Making money made me smile, yeah. And then we can obviously change that back, and now this is, you know, the normal track. But there's a lot of great stuff with referencing, man. I'm so upset that I haven't been able to use that properly, but it's endless. If you've got tracks that you can use to reference, bruv, this is going to save you a bunch of time. So here's the price and all that sort of stuff. You get Ozone elements for $129, $249, or $499. Really, which one you get depends on where you are in your career and how much money you got to spend. Obviously, you want the advanced version because you get everything in there, but you might start out on Ozone Elements, get some songs out, and then, you know, upgrade and upgrade as you go. I really like Ozone 8, man. I really like it. I like the sound that it gives me for, you know, mastering my tracks. I like the quickness with which I can master my tracks and get stuff out and, you know, start mastering and all that sort of stuff and get a good sound by using the presets. Or, you know, I did start with a preset and now I've created my own preset and now I just use that on pretty much every track and just edit it to get where it needs to get to, and sometimes try out new things. And I do need to try out some of the other modules because it's unfair, man. One thing that I'm not super happy about with this is that it takes up a lot of CPU, and you can't add more than 6 modules, man. There's so many interesting modules in here. I want to add more than 6. I want to try them all out. Like, I want them all to be on my song. I probably shouldn't have all of them. Maybe there's a reason why there's a limit, but I want more modules, cuz I need more modules. So that's a negative, that there's not a bunch of modules. And I think the way this is supposed to be used is I'm supposed to just bring, like, output an audio file, bring that into a new track and just have Ozone on there. Then that's probably not going to be a bunch of trouble with the CPU. So that's more my fault in terms of, you know, the workflow process that you're supposed to do. Like, that's common in mastering. So I can't dog on that too much because I haven't really, you know, done that. I'll do that when I'm doing my album. I'll mix those in, you know, audio tracks and do all that sort of stuff. Right about now, I'm figuring out my mastering process, and I just want to continue to iterate on that until I get to one place, and then I'm like, okay, this is where it is, and I'll move forward with that. So in my mastering process, sometimes I still need to adjust the mix and stuff like that, and I like to be able to do that within the song. I did master a song by exporting all the stems out, and even then, like, the CPU then became a bit wild because I had neutron all over the place and I had to record new audio, so I had some effects, and then I had Ozone. So yeah, it's just all workflow in it. But I really do like the sound that Ozone gives me, and I do highly recommend it if you want to get your tracks mastered and you want to be able to do it yourself, and you want to be able to get your tracks sounding really good. Then I believe it's a great investment, instead of, you know, paying a bunch of mixing engineers and all that sort of stuff and mastering engineers. Although it makes a lot of sense to pay those people to learn how they do it and then get good at doing it and then do it yourself, and then, you know, you spend what, $500 and you master all your songs yourself, instead of spending however much it costs to master every single song you put out. And that will probably add up eventually. I don't know how much that costs because I do everything myself, but that's me. I hope you liked this review. I hope it helped give you some insight into whether you should get Ozone 8, whether it'll be good for you or not. If you want to master your songs, it's good for you. If you want to, like, if you're crap at mastering and you want to basically just be able to fling something on that does most of the work for you, and you want to play around with some presets, it's good for you. Trust me, because that's what I am. I'm mediocre at mastering. Don't really know what's going on. I'm hoping for the best, but Ozone guides me through it, and yeah, I highly recommend it so that you can get your music to the next level. Check that out. I'll link it in the description down below. Yeah, description down below. If you want to use the same template that I use to mix and master my beats in FL Studio, then go to jcarteret.com/FL templates, and you can grab that, use that on all your beats, and it's going to speed up your mixing and mastering process by tenfold. Like, I use this for pretty much all my beats, and now I don't spend ages mixing and mastering my beats. It's got my Ozone presets, all that sort of stuff. So definitely go grab that if you want to save a lot of time. In the next video, you're gonna learn more about music, YouTube marketing, and online business. But before then, comment down below with your questions or any other videos you want me to make, as well as what you would like me to review next. and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.